Welcome everyone back to weekly weather updates, and in today's video we're going to have a look at the latest on the potentially very hot and very thundery period we're going to be seeing coming up starting in the next few days. We've still got pretty mundane conditions going on at the moment, as we'll see on the live radar, and the first few days on the UKV, but as soon as we head towards Saturday and Sunday time, those temperatures are going to really climb quite widely towards the low to mid 20s, high 20s or even 30 degrees across a large swathe of England and potentially into Wales as well. But as I said, there's going to be a lot of instability associated with that, and we'll see that on the UKV, and we'll also have a look at the icon run today, looking at the risk for thunderstorms developing initially through England and Wales, but could be developing further northwards as we do head to the latter points of the next 5 days. Unfortunately, a lot of the uncertainty is going to be arising early next week, which we don't really have in the time frame of the shorter range runs yet. So it is looking likely to be quite thundery and continue to be quite hot as we head into next working week, but we can't say it with too much certainty at this stage. But we will still check out the latest GFS, GM, ECMWF and the ensemble to see what they have to say for the overall pressure patterns and the sort of air masses we'll be expecting next week, as it does look likely we're seeing a proper step change from sort of warm early summer sort of weather, or late spring sort of conditions, to proper summer-like conditions. High 20s, 30 degree days, warm, hot sunshine, and the risk of some explosive thundery systems. So do remember, if you enjoy my videos, make sure you like and subscribe, and remember to follow me on Twitter as well, the link's in the description. Now once again, if we start on the live radar, you can see it is bone dry through most regions at the moment, but we have been keeping an eye on all the storms across the sort of the Mediterranean region. You can start to see they're starting to migrate northwards. Previous to this, they'd been exclusively across Southeast Europe, Italy, down towards Spain and Portugal, but they're now spreading further northwards, and this is showing that hot, humid air mass slowly migrating further northwards, and it'll start to impact us through Friday and Saturday, where we start to see those storms properly develop. Now, if you put on the temperatures as of 4 p.m, so the peak temperatures of the day, you can see it is starting to hot up in the south. Nothing too crazy yet, but those temperatures rising around that 24 to maybe 26 degree range. These dark oranges will be spreading more widely over the next 2 or 3 days before we see widespread mid to high 20s, as said, by Saturday. The east coast still a little bit chilly as we got a bit of an easterly flow, but that is getting cut off more and more as we do see that wind swinging from the south, and you can see all this hot air now across France that is heading our way. So if you first have a look at the UKV and see what that is showing over the next 5 days. As I said, we can't quite get into the time frame of Monday to Wednesday next week, which is where it could really peak the thundery activity, but Saturday and Sunday still has some very hot conditions and thunderstorms associated with that. As you can see through the rest of this afternoon, conditions will be fairly sunny and really dry as well, and equally pretty warm. We'll have a look at those temperatures in a minute. As we head through the rest of this evening into tomorrow, we're likely to see another pretty pleasant day. Widely, again, a lot of sunshine and a lot of warm conditions. But if you just look to the bottom left of the screen, down towards our southwest, you can start to see thicker cloud and areas of showers pushing in, and that's the instability starting to move our way. Now into Friday, we could see a few odd showers starting to develop in places, but once again, we're not expecting anything too crazy at the moment. You see a few showers in the morning in this far southwest, a few thundery as well with that, and a few maybe dotted across southern England, southwest England and southern Ireland. Perhaps some quite stormy looking skies, but nothing too crazy yet, as that air mass is truly starting to arrive. It's into Saturday, though, that things do start to change. Look at that. By 3 p.m. on Saturday, we've got widespread hot conditions and big isolated thunderstorms starting to pop off just in that real heat. Small convective thunderstorm popping off, potentially turning into chains of storms. At the moment, UKV is looking through central and southern England. Some really thick reds showing there, so some really intense systems. And then across Northern Ireland and the Republic of Ireland could be some heavy showers there. Not as likely to be thunderstorms, but there still is the risk of thunderstorms in this warmth. As we do progress beyond that, those storms do slowly migrate northwards through the evening, perhaps into northwest England, and then out into the Irish Sea. You can see those thunderstorms potentially heading into parts of Scotland for the early hours of Sunday, and more storm systems developing through through the sort of lunchtime period of Sunday into the afternoon for once again central England, but more for northern England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland here. It will take a little bit of a hit to the temperatures, maybe not quite as hot, not quite a high peak, but still very warm and very humid, just lowering those temperatures because of the widespread thunderstorm risk as we do head beyond that. And we're likely to see more of that thundery risk as we do head into Monday and Tuesday as well, but we can't quite see that at this range. If we look at the mixed level cape, you can see not too much happening on Friday, a few odd areas, and that's where we could see a few small storms break out. But into Saturday, we start to see big cape levels, especially through England and potentially into Wales as well. Not so much across Republic of Ireland, Northern Ireland, that's why those are more just generally heavier showers. And then as we head into Sunday, Cape picks up significantly once again through England, into Scotland, Northern Ireland, and the Republic of Ireland once again, before dying out slowly into the evenings. But it could be some big storms there, seeing a lot of energy within the atmosphere. It's because we've got such a warm upper air temperatures. You see by the weekend, upper air temperatures are widely into the low teens. Again, symbolic of mid to high 20s. And if we look at those 2 meter temperatures, you can see today temperatures peaking at 24, 25 in the south, but really quite isolated. But that will just become more and more widespread, with Thursday looking more widely into the low 20s to mid 20s. Into Friday, even warmer, could even peak at 27 to 29 there in a few isolated spots in the far south or southwest, more widely low to mid 20s, and then finally into Saturday, really could peak across large swathes of England and Wales around the 28 to 30 degree range. Again, thunderstorms will limit those temperatures where they do occur, but if you don't see thunderstorms, you see sunshine, you are looking at 25 degrees and upwards. And then finally into Sunday, still another hot day, could peak at 27 to 29. Perhaps not quite as warm, simply because we are seeing more thunderstorms break out, and those will cool the temperatures down where they do occur. So it is going to hold those temperatures back a little bit, but still another very hot and humid day. And this looks like it will continue as we do head into next working week. If you look at the icon run now, look at the risk for thunderstorms, you can see a few showers into the southwest through early hours of Saturday, and perhaps a few storms breaking out on Saturday in the southwest, but perhaps holding off the instability a bit more here from the icon. So not as much of a thundery day on Saturday, but as we head into Sunday, more storms break out, especially for the afternoon, so very similar to the UKV. So it looks like Saturday, UKV is being a bit more progressive with that instability than the icon is being, but on Sunday they're starting to agree that we're going to see some big thunderstorm outbreaks through central areas. Again, we'll have to pinpoint it near the time. It's still a good 4 or 5 days away, but looking quite lively into the weekend. If you look at the temperatures, firstly into Friday, again, you can see potentially picking up to 25 to 27 degrees in the far south, but it's really Saturday where things turn widely hot, 27 to 29, so not quite 30 degrees, but you'd expect somewhere within this to peak at around 30 degrees, and the same into Sunday. But again, cool through those central areas where we do see more thunderstorms breaking out because of that thicker cloud. You can see just a blanket sort of 22 to 25 here. Again, all where the rain and cloud is holding those temperatures down. But regardless of that, it's going to be quite hot and humid, especially into Saturday and Sunday. Still very hot and humid, but could be more widespread thunderstorms. But as I said, we'll be able to have a look at this in a lot more detail in the next day or two as it does get into the shorter time frame models. But we will have a look now at the longer range as we do head into next week as well. So the day 5 to day 10 point and beyond, see how long this hot air will hang around and how much instability we'll see into next week and beyond. And you can see the reason for all this is high pressure sat over the top of the moment is migrating northwards and eastwards. You can see it moving up towards Scandinavia, and it's pulling up a southerly or southeasterly wind, bringing up hot air from southern Europe and instability out in the Atlantic, again combining with that to give us our thundery outbreaks. Beyond that, we stay with this southerly flow all the way through early next week, before eventually high pressure could topple back in. So it could cut off the thundery risk, but we're still within that hot air. The hot air hasn't really gone anywhere. So it will still probably remain fairly warm, fairly hot and dry, and then we could see low pressure sliding in again, could bring the risk of more thundery weather there as we do head to 384 hours. If we do run back to the start and have a look at the 850 HPA temperatures, you can see that hot air arriving into Saturday around that 10 to 15 degree range at 850 HPA, and that sort of hot air does remain for most of next week. Could cool down at times, perhaps in the middle of the week, so again could drop down to more towards mid to low 20s, but still very warm and still above average for the foreseeable future here. And of course, when we do see some instability mixing in, you see slightly cooler upper temperatures, but of course there'll be the risk of thunderstorms with that. And finally, we look at the Cape levels, especially early next week, to see what we could be seeing there. You can see it's Saturday, high Cape levels in the far south into central areas as well. Nothing too ridiculous, but high enough for thunderstorm risk. And into Sunday, it starts to really take off through those central and eastern regions. And again, into Monday, similar conditions, perhaps even higher there through Monday evening. And into Tuesday, could be some Cape around in northern areas before it slowly starts to die out, but still some moderate levels around for some heavy showers and storm risk into next week before the high pressure does topple and things start to settle down a little bit. Before at day 10, you can see another area of instability moving to our south, which could combine further inland to give another area of storm risk into the following weekend. So you can see from the GFS today, it's not going to be non-stop hot weather, non-stop thunderstorms, but it's not looking likely to be an abrupt end on Monday. It's likely to continue to be hot and thundery through Monday and Tuesday, perhaps remaining fairly warm and hot through the west of the working week, but that thundery risk perhaps reducing as we see high pressure topple back in and that instability reduce. If you look at the GM now, see what that is showing again. The southeasterly winds pushing in, very hot and unstable air mass, and all the way to day 10, we generally see high pressure topple back in. So it's taking it more stable, but remaining fairly warm and hot. Into the weekend, the 10 to 15 degree isotherm moves in and sort of holds all the way to around Wednesday time. Starts to reduce a little bit, but still fairly warm, and actually stays even hotter as we get to day 10, where that big air mass does move back in. And again, we look at the 2 metre temperatures for this, again, still mid to high 20s appearing, especially for the Republic of Ireland, and you could expect, again, a lot drier as well, and again, it's because that easterly wind starts to come back in, but still very warm, hot air mass, upper air temperatures around that 10 plus degree range, so that warm, hot air isn't going anywhere anytime soon. If you look at the ECMWF run, again, high pressure continue to dominate over the coming days, but instability moves back into the weekend, giving us that southerly flow. And all the way out to day 10, we're firmly under high pressure, and you can see a tilt of southerly winds moving in, and even hotter air mass could try to build in here at day 10. But we don't see that 10 degree isotherm go anywhere from the ECMWF here for the next 10 days, indicating temperatures likely to not drop below 25 degrees in some regions. Again, if we look at the accumulated precipitation, you can see big thundery risk as we do head into next week with some darker blues, especially appearing for western and southern regions. Again, that could be the pinpoint of the thunderstorms, but again, we'll have to really look at that with these short range runs in the coming days. And finally, if we just look at the 2 metre temperatures, you can see into the weekend, looking widely into the mid to high 20s, again, all due to the thunderstorm risk, where those temperatures could be reduced. But as we're into the longer range, still looking mid to high 20s, all the way towards latter parts of next week, perhaps into the weekend, as well as the ECMWF doesn't have that hot air going anywhere either. If you look at the ensembles, just to finish, you can see this well represented. As we head into the weekend, we're going to see 3 or 4 days of thundery weather starting on Saturday, and again, that thundery weather will migrate around, so even though it's showing here perhaps on Tuesday not as much thunderstorm activity in southern England or towards the London area, further northwards we'll have thunderstorm activity, a good 3 to 5 days of storminess around, coinciding with the very hot air mass. But you can see it drops off very slowly as we do progress into the middle of June. It's remaining above average and around that 10 degree mark, which is around 25 degrees surface temperatures for the London area. So yes, it's looking likely it could go a little bit drier, not completely, but not as strong as a signal as we do head beyond the middle of next week, but remaining fairly warm and fairly hot. Again, if we look at the 2 metre temperatures, again, not dropping off all too much in the longer term, remaining around the 23 to 25-degree mark, and again these are midday and 6 p.m. temperatures. That's why we're not seeing anything 30 degrees here, so that's likely to peak around that sort of 2 to 4 p.m. point. And if we look at the dew points, you can see really hot and humid as we head towards the weekend, and again that will fuel the thunderstorms, turning a little bit less oppressive beyond that, but still fairly warm. If you look at the ECWF, just to finish off, again, very hot air mass moving in up towards maybe 14 degrees, 850 XPA, and some big precipitation spikes appearing towards the weekend, and slowly the upper air temperatures start to tail off, but remain around that 10-degree mark. So incredibly warm still, and perhaps turning a little bit drier. But it does look likely summer is properly arriving here, at least for a good 3 to 5 days. And from the state of these ensemble members and the operational runs, perhaps as long as 10 days or beyond as we do head into the middle of June. So if you enjoyed the mundane sort of weather we've had at the moment, where it's been fairly warm, bone dry for a number of weeks now, it's all about to change. Not only things will be getting a lot hotter, perhaps 5 to 10 degrees hotter in some regions, but also it will be getting a lot more unstable, and there will be a big risk of thunderstorms and general shower activity as we get into the weekend and beyond. But if you have been a little bit bored by some of this mundane weather recently and you want something a little bit more exciting, a little bit more unstable, then the next few days is going to be for you as we do head into this quite lively period of summery weather. So anyway, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Make sure you stay tuned for the video we'll put out in the next couple of days, probably tomorrow or on Friday, where we have a proper in-depth look with all the short-range runs, as we do get into their 72-hour lead time, and that will be a very important video to see, as we're able to pinpoint exactly where we'll see the biggest thunderstorms and how long they perhaps will last as we do head into next week. So as I said, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you again for another video soon.